Yo, if you're about to release a new album and you're in that moment of the year that you are super stressed, preparing the preparation before the release, the narrative, the promotion, the launching, the everything, the pitching, and you're super stressed, I'm gonna tell you some quick tips in this video. Stay in this video because I'm gonna tell you how I manage myself with my own band Cryzix when I did this process over the last 18 years. We released 6 studio albums, so I'm gonna give you some tips so you can manage this workflow in a better way, okay? By the way, if you don't know me, this is Bibi. This is my podcast, Extreme Metal Business, and this podcast is aimed for bands who are DIY or they are working with labels, but they want to level up their impact with their music. This channel is exactly for that, and this is the podcast. And by the way, before I start, I just released a little and by the way, before we start, I just released the Artist Survival Kit. What is the Artist Survival Kit? This is a free resource that you have in the link in the description of this video, where you will have access to the Spotify discovery engine that major labels, music marketing agencies, they run. And now this resource, that is also something that I teach to my students at Extreme Metal Business, my school. I wanted to give it for free because this is something very important for any musician. No matter if you are DIY or you are working with label, you have to understand how to run correctly the ads and how to do your promo campaigns so Spotify brings you more new fans. This is a free resource you have available, and you have a step-by-step process on how to build this through Spotify and learn how the major labels and marketing agencies do it, and they charge you probably more than 1,000 euros. So this resource is for free for you to learn it, so you don't have to depend on anyone to promote your release perfectly, okay? So now, let's go with the release, okay? Because I don't want to extend with this because you have the resource there, because otherwise this video would take us a lot of time, and I want to keep it simple. Right now, probably it's your case. You have these lots of deadlines. You have lots of different fronts here, like the artwork, the release, the label, or the distribution, the merch, the promo campaigns, everything. You have all these different folders in your head, and everything is open right now because you are 2 months, 3 months of the release, and you're preparing the video clip. Also, of course, the content you have to create, all these little things, not little, but all these little departments that they they need you to take care of. It's something very important. One thing that I started to do, and it's it helped me a lot. It's mental peace, because with your mind disorganized, it's going to be very difficult for you to operate in a level that you are in peace, that you are confident and with the conviction. And it will keep you more in a state of, emergency, survival mode, and all the time worried. And worries, of course, you have to listen to the worries, which means that something is not organized in your head. But it's important that you don't get drawn by this worriness, okay? Otherwise, you will operate in a very much less level of potential that you already have, So to start operating in this piece, it's about organizing your closet. This is like a disorganized closet, and now we have to organize the closet. And how I start to organize the closet, basically, it's with the finish line first, okay? And then I do this reverse mechanism that you can do also, okay? It's important that also, first of all, what I want to first introduce is that why this happens, especially to younger bands, because I remember the first release that we had to prepare with Cryzix, my metal band from Barcelona. It was The Menace in 2011, and we were so unexperienced, and we were young, we were restless, we were with a lot of fire, but in the business side, we were not as disciplined and as focused as we are today. It's normal. We were not trained, and it catched us by surprise. So I remember that I faced some ugly situations, with myself, and also with discussions, with tensions, and everything, because in the moment that nothing is organized, you start to operate in this way, and it makes the experience of releasing an album much more pain in the ass, That's why I think it's important with the time, the more you mature and the more you train yourself to be more focused and more effective, I think it's something that you should aim to, and avoid at all costs to try to have this, overwhelming experience all the time, like something's missing all the time, and this is like an anxiety that you're carrying all the day, even that you don't feel it like a super anxiety that you can do your life normally. I really believe that this is something that you carry on your own, and it's it affects you, it affects you in a long term, someday you will explode. So you want to avoid at all costs that you carry something with you, a bag, that you're putting stones, that someday you will explode, put it on your bandmates, explode them in front of them and create a mess. We want to avoid that. And to avoid that, it's now, instead of you keeping it silent and silently suffering and being in pain, it's important to now put the actions and put all the things together. First of all, this is a business, guys, and now you're putting something in the market. So no matter if you're a musician and you're doing it for passion, or you're a bakery, or you're whatever business in the world, you have a product that you want to put out in the market and you want it to be successful. So this means that you have to put some energy before that it's successful, And I think that one of the main reasons that this leads to a lot of inner problem tensions with the band is that the mindset of how you start the band comes from this place of passion, that you just want to have fun, but then all of a sudden you start to get more serious, your bandmates are more serious, and then there's a time that everyone wants to make an album and you are into it as well, but you don't treat it as a job because you're not paid, of course, and because you don't see the money in your salary in your account, you treat it as a hobby. But in the end, you are doing an action that comes from a professional world. You're putting something in the market. And especially if you're working with a label, the pressure is higher. You have to deliver with more timings, with more pressure and everything. So that's normal that when this happens, there's parts of the band that they don't act in accordingly to these professional views, that they will be more, they will have more struggles, they will feel more tension, they will feel more difficulties, to navigate all this. And I think it's important to try to organize as much as you can, guys. And first of all, approach this releasing of an album with the mindset of that you have to work. You have to work in advance. You will not get paid until maybe next year or 2 years or 3 years. Don't care. But you're trying to do something as much as professional as you want. You are investing in your business. So I think it's important to start from this mindset, and from this mindset, this foundation, then start having departments inside of your band. I think that's so massively important, because if everyone is trying to do everything and having opinions on everything, this is what creates a big room full of chickens, like yelling all the time. I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but yes, you create a lot of noise. So I think the best is that, from my experience, you are good with this design, you are good with this logistics, you are good with keeping with money and whatever and financial thing, you are good with staying in touch with the distribution, with the label or whatever. Everyone has his own role. And in the moment that you have one role assigned, you are the responsible of that department. So this means that if some job is not being delivered on time, who is the fault? Not the band, but the guy. I think that's important. So gives also responsibility to each one member in the band. This would be my 100% advice. It took us a lot of time for us, for Cryzix, to operate like this. And before operating like this, we were just a mess. I don't know even how we toured the world without with operating like this in a very beginner level. But it's something that I would include, or I would try to do it. Even that if you are in a hobby level, man. Every one of you worked, and you had hierarchies and you had departments and everything. Even if you were a pizza deliverer or you worked in a McDonald's, you know how to organize yourself. So do the same with your own band. So once you have these departments aligned, and everyone, each one of your band members will take care of this. And you cannot expect that everyone will have the same equal load of amount of work, because not everyone is prepared to work as hard as you. If you're watching this video, maybe it's because you have the drive to move your career forward, but maybe the drummer of your band or the singer of your band or the guitarist of your band is not watching these videos. Why? Because he doesn't have this drive to learn and to give more and so on. So you have to also respect that not everyone will be at your own level of performance. So this means that you have to be respectful also for that, and try that everyone has his own job assigned, but don't expect that each job will have the same equal performance, because not everyone is performing as the same as you or the other. This being said, once this is tied, now we are starting to tie the closet. What I would do is first put the finish line. Okay, this is a project. We are 5, 4, 3, whatever you are in your band, and we want to accomplish this. Release the album in this date. And then start thinking about, okay, this album, what it takes to be released in that date. It takes that the music is recorded. So now you do a reverse mechanism, okay? To have the album released on distribution, on digital or CD with a music video, you need to have a music video, you have to need the albums, you need to this digital distribution, you need the master, you need all these things. So start tagging all these things, and when you need to start doing these things. So this means that, for example, if you need the digital distribution, this means that 1 month before the album is out, have to be distributed in the digital distribution, which means that it has to be 1 month before has to be the master done. But if you have to produce CDs or vinyls, maybe you need more time in the margin. So this means that the master, you need it 2 months in advance, you know? And when you start putting this in your calendar, in this piece of paper, you start seeing much more clearly that, okay, if in that date I have to have the master, this means that I have to record with 1 month before or 2 months before. So this means that I have to start recording at this date. And you start having these little different checkpoints, you know, that you have to go through, you know. And then with the music video is exactly the same, okay? And then from all the seasons, it's important, you cannot do everything at once, you know? So it's important that you have put the priority on what to attack first, okay? If the first priority is to finish the songs and go to record the studio, let's put this as a priority and leave on the background the music video ideas, the label, the whatever, the promotion and the content and all this. Even that it's important, it's in the background, but let's now focus on one big thing at a time, you know? Because in the end, one thing that creates a lot of noise is having these open folders of different things in your head, and you feel overwhelmed, and this makes you feel like this sense of paralysis. And what you need to go through, okay, is like, okay, yeah, this is a giant, okay? It's like a giant, like the David and Goliath, you know? The Goliath is a giant, it's a very tough guy, and you can start seeing at this guy like, oh, look how much strength he has, look how much, how difficult it is to beat him or whatever. But no, all you have to focus, man, is how are you gonna beat that fucking giant? How are you gonna beat it? How are you gonna attack? Don't think about how difficult it is, but start thinking on how to attack. Okay, what is gonna be your tools to attack it, day by day, step by step. So what I would do is put a priority list, you know, and you have all these little different things, you know, that you have to approach, and then write a piece of paper, especially if you are managing the band or leading a little bit the process. Okay, so for this week, you know, what are the top priorities of all this work that we have to do? What are the things that this week I'm gonna take care of? And you start writing down, okay, I'm gonna finish the recording process, so it's everything on time for this week. I'm gonna start contacting the artwork guy, or I'm gonna start contacting somebody that's gonna do this or that because this is the next priority, so I'm gonna also do it this week, okay? And you have all these mess of things that you have to do, but you start categorizing what are the priorities of these messy things that you have to do first, so you start attacking. You have to start attacking the Goliath, the giant, and it's by putting the priorities, selecting the priorities, and start doing it right now, today, tomorrow, this week. The priorities that you're gonna do, this. Okay, you achieve it, and then the next week you start again the week. I like to do this on Sundays, and then you start planning again what are the next things from this big project that you have to do and you have to attack right now. You know, and so on and so on. So this, you know, will give you this this checklist. This is like a checkbox, and this gives you a lot of power, you know, because it's so addictive. Try it, okay? If you have this list of things in a piece of paper, and it's very important that it's in the paper, not in the phone. In the paper, it's something that you can take the pen and do, you know, marked. And this is so powerful, and it's so addictive. If you try it, you will tell me, and you will comment in this video, and you will say, yeah, I tried this, and it's very, very powerful, baby. You're right. Because it's addictive. It's like, okay, I have this checkbox of 3 things or 4 different things to do this week. And wow, today I just did one, and in the afternoon I did the second one. So now this week I just have 2 more things, and I will be accomplished for this week. And it's very addictive to do this marking. It's super cool, and it's very visual and symbolic for you to say, okay, I'm doing the job. And you want to keep this feedback of positive feedback in yourself, in your brain, like you are doing the job and you're moving forward. You have to have this feeling of you are walking, you know. The thing that is gonna make you feel more anxiety in this process, if you have this full list of things you don't know how to start with, so because you don't know how to start with, you start with nothing, and every day that passes you didn't do nothing. This is what will give you the 100% anxiety. So start doing the list, start checking, using the checkbox, but using always the priority, not the easy thing, but the priority. What is the priority to do right now? Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's have a gathering, a meeting with the rest of the band to decide this, and that. To decide this merch, to decide this artwork, everything. Put it in the checkbox, start doing it week by week, and you will see how much traction you will have from this. And everyone, because you are starting to do it, everyone will follow you. And now you have a machinery that is like this super machinery that is working on its own. It's hard, this machinery, to start to make it it's like a wheel to start spinning around. It's hard at the beginning, but once you put the pieces together and you make it, run and spin, and it has this traction, you will see how powerful it is when everyone is aligned. No one knows why are you doing all this job, what is the goal, and what is everyone's responsibility to make this happen. This will make everyone be more part of the process and more engaged. Okay. And also it will lead us less discussions because everyone is focused on their own thing, okay? I think one of the things that leads a lot of discussions is the idea of, having this sense of, I don't know who has to do anything. I feel uncomfortable because I have to do all this investment, and I'm afraid of this, and one guy of the band cannot handle this financial pressure, so he's yelling at you because he's afraid that you will get a sue, or you'll get poor, or he will have to pay a debt of 10,000 euros. This happens because of the lack of organization, not because of the risk. The risk is everywhere, it's all the time. But if you see that you are working towards a goal, you don't put your mind in, you don't put your attention into the risk, but you put in your attention into the solutions. I think that's what I'm trying to mean when I'm trying to say like this David Goliath metaphor. You can put your mind into the risks, or you can put the mind into the solutions. And you want to put yourself first, and then try that the band follows you, putting the mind in the solutions. But it's normal that everyone has fears, and they see the risks, and they doubt a lot and all. But if somebody is leading the way in this determination, I will tell you that the rest, what they are looking for is determination. They are looking for somebody who actually does the things and knows where he goes. So knowing where to go, it's not about just having this fantasy sense of, I know where I go and I say that I believe it in myself, but no, it's like actually writing it down in a piece of paper, in a plan, like, okay, we're gonna act like this because we want to achieve this. I hope that you understood a little bit the essence of this video. It's difficult to do it without if I would show you maybe a diagram or something, would be easier. But I understand these moments of a band are pretty chaotic. It can be super chaotic because also you have to do the press releases, the press interviews, everything. And it's ultra chaotic. You have to think about too many things at once, And probably if you're unexperienced, it's the first or the second album that you're releasing, you will feel overwhelmed. And then the pressure of creating content, you don't know what to post. Well, this is it's a business, it's a business, and it takes time, but also you have to learn. Okay, that's why every month I try to guide 5 musicians, 5 bands, 5 people inside a band that want to learn more about this, and to level up, their impact with their music. And it's a lot of different things. It's not just about the music, but also it's how you promote it, how you market yourself, what is the message behind. It's a full, a full concept that you have to have in mind. And in these sessions, what I try, it's a free session that I give to whoever wants and wants to do it, especially if I have space in my calendar, because right now I'm full. But if you see a spot in my calendar, you have a link in description, my Calendly. It's a link that will take you to my calendar, and you can book a session with me, and I will try to give you clarity, guidance on this, and also my perspective on how to approach some different things and struggles that you might have right now. So, I will be happy to do it. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy to see bands succeeding, bands promoting correctly, bands choosing the correct singles and putting and releasing the singles in the correct timing, so everything explodes. It's a little bit like a strategy game also, So I enjoy it a lot. So now you have the link in the description. We can see each other. Otherwise, keep checking these
podcast, because in this podcast I try to give all this knowledge that I didn't have back then when I started with Crysis and I was 18 years old, 20 years old. I didn't know who to ask. There was no YouTubers telling about this, speaking about this. And that's my little grain of sand that I try to put in the music industry for music bands. So stay tuned to this podcast. We have a lot of channels, a lot of other episodes that you can consult that maybe they're related to you, okay? Thank you for following one more episode. Follow me at BP Plaza. Also there, you can contact me for any questions that you have. Also, I try to share a lot of information about bands, also for guitars, also guitarists, because in the end it's what I do in my school, Extreme Metal Picking and Extreme Metal Business, which are the two departments that I have for musicians, but also musicians that have bands. So, nothing more to say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.